Hi there, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine with the greatest cameraman around, Sonny Hersh, and your host, Avi Meyers.
Thank you, Marty. Thanks for joining us today on the Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hersh and myself. Dial us up on the World Wide Web at www.ntnm.org, where you can have a direct link to watch our shows on YouTube, where over 55,000 shows have been watched. We're real big on community policing also. Sonny Hersh, in his spare time, of course, is the chairman of the District Advisory Committee of the 24th District, as well as the beat rep for Beat 2413. You can check all the different meetings for the 24th District, which consists of Rogers Park, West Rogers Park, and a little bit of Edgewater, by going to caps24.org. And just click on the individual beat you're in, be it 2411, 12, 13, or whatever, to get the entire schedule for the year for all these places. For the rest of the city, just dial 311 to find out your local community policing. And speaking of the police, it is our pleasure to introduce you to our brand new police commander, anyway, his name is Dave Sobczyk, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
And now this is the first time you're commander of a district?
Yes, first-time district commander. I've been a commander in two previous units, but first district, yes.
And how are you finding the experience?
It's incredible. Rogers Park is an incredibly rich community, very eclectic, and I'm enjoying meeting incrementally different segments of the community, and I'm finding it very fruitful.
Very good. What do you see as things that need to be done, problems? What's going on in the neighborhood?
Well, shortly after I was assigned, obviously we had several incidents in the Jewish community, which we responded to. I think we've gotten a lot of positive feedback. As far as crime, it seems like depending on what part of the district you're in, there's different types of crime issues that need to be addressed. One of the initiatives I'm going to start is on the north end, Howard Street location. We're going to have a zero-tolerance approach. We're going to start that in early February. A lot of police presence along with zero-tolerance enforcement, and we're going to try to address quality of life issues there for the community. We have other concerns in other parts of our district with regards to property crime. Burglary is an issue that we need to address. We have a brand new TAC Lieutenant, Paul Kaczynski, and we're hoping to get a lot of good things done.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of new people.
Yes.
And, one of the things I would be remiss if I didn't mention, I wanted to wish well to Steve Cohn and Hank Jacob, who have been for so long the backbone of community policing. For the 24th District, together with Bruce Ratner, they went to join him over at Area 3. And we miss you guys, but you know what? I guess they got to appoint their own replacements, and so far, Officer McKenna and the other officer is
Trish.
And they're both extremely impressive people, and I think they're going to work out very well with the community in general.
I couldn't agree with you more. They were handpicked, and I think they're going to do very well. And the thing to stress is we haven't lost Steve and Hank. They've simply gone to an area, and last time I checked, we're still part of that area. So we're still going to do well.
And yeah, they actually told me they're going to be showing up at some of the community policing meetings still. They, for instance, the new Jewish thing is something that took them 15 years to get going, but they're not going to drop it so quick.
Exactly. They're going to still carry the ball on the projects that they started in 24, and they're going to start a couple others throughout other districts in Area 3, but we're going to still see a lot of them.
Yeah, and plus they also live here, and I've got friends that know them from way back when.
Sure, they did a great job, and they will continue to do so.
Yeah, but anyway, good luck, guys, and we'll see you around. How many new faces are there? I mean, it seems like everywhere I look, it's like new this, new that, new everybody.
As far as 24, as far as I know, just myself and Paul Kaczynski, who's the new TAC lieutenant. Other than that, we've retained the same beat officers, same watch commanders, same lieutenants and sergeants.
Oh, Sergeant Cassidy also is new.
She's new in the CAPS office, correct. But she was there prior to my being there, and she certainly does a great job, and we have no anticipation of changing that as far as her assignment because of she's doing an excellent job. So.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's very hands-on. I'm getting calls a lot from Officer McKenna, and I'm in frequent email. I do 24/12 in my spare time, guys. So I've been in frequent contact with them, and they've been very helpful wherever needed, coming up with facts, figures, and information to bring to the community, which has been great.
Yes, and that's why, I mean, we're there to serve the people, and I think the people that are in place, especially with regards to community policing, are doing a great job when it comes to that.
No, you've got a really good group of people. There's no question about it. And even though there's definitely a lot of new faces, I mean, there's been good continuity from what I can see. How does there have been some changes, of course, in community policing that it's out of your control because it's budget stuff. But at the meetings lately, it's like, you know what? I'm going to move on from there. What kind of crime, is there a specific sort of crime you see popping up in general? Are there trends? You were talking also, one of the things you've been doing too is giving us homework assignments at the camps meetings, which is kind of an interesting thing.
Well, essentially, the reason I wanted to do that, and I repeated it at the last two DAC meetings, is to literally document all the hard work that all of the community members do for absolutely no compensation, monetary-wise. And it's literally to capture all this hard work that's being done day after day, week after week, month after month. Because up until now, it never really is. We do summary reports when asked, but I really want to build up a comprehensive file on all the great work that's being done in every beat in 24 by the people that do it, out of the kindness of their heart and the interest in their community. And I think that's something very, very important.
No, and I think it's a very smart idea because there's different people do different things different ways, and there's you can gain, I think, from one beat to the next different ways of doing things that can be very effective in future years.
I agree. Collecting best practices is a good habit to get into. So.
Yeah, for sure. Now, in terms of is there a specific area you're looking to? Is any specific areas, or you're still new enough? How long have you been on the job?
I came in right before the 1st of December.
And the way things actually work, and I hate to say this, the last three commanders, one of the first things they did after they got appointed was they had to go on furlough.
Yes.
And it's true. It's like the last three all went on furlough almost immediately after being appointed.
They sometimes make us, take a little time off here and there. So it happened to myself. When I was first appointed, I was there for a week, and I wound up taking off 2 weeks. So it's
Commander Couloris before you, and we had Bruce Rotner was the same situation. I want to say, and Weiberg, as a matter of fact, got hurt almost right away after we started. Okay. So anyway,
well, I haven't been hurt yet.
No, thank God, and don't get hurt. We don't want you to be hurt. We don't want you to be hurt. Is there, as you're getting a feel for what's going on here, are there specific, are there specific areas you want to see improved? What can people do at home, as a matter of fact, to make it a safer neighborhood?
In a word, vigilance, and it's a double-edged sword that helps us do our job. It's a survival skill for every citizen. You need to have your eyes and ears open in the big city, and you also need to assist us in doing our job. And we can't do this alone. And unless you report back to us what you're seeing on a day-to-day basis in your neighborhoods, your communities, outside your windows, we're not going to be able to do our job as best as we can. So that's the word that I'd like to share with everyone, vigilance.
And, when I see people react, it's like, it's so important that because there's only, about a little over 200 officers in the area, and you're split between 24 hours a day and 3 different shifts and all that. So there's a limit to how many places you guys can be at once.
That's correct. We're still working on our superhuman powers, but we haven't mastered cloning yet. So we do need the community as partners, and that's something I wish to stress.
No, for sure. And when people see things, what do they do with 911? What do they do with 311? Are there times to call the station itself, or?
The bottom line is, if it's an emergency, there's one place to go, and it's a one-stop shop. That's 911. If you need the police there right now, 911 is the place to call. If it's something of a non-emergency nature, 311 to report graffiti or something that has already happened and no one is injured, 311 would be your best option. The thing is, and I've recently put out a statement to the community, is that the police station does not have the power to dispatch cars. We have to, get contact with OEMC. That's the sole
what does that stand for?
Office of Emergency Management.
Okay.
So center, 911 center. So in essence, even though when we ask for a police, they have to justify sending out a car. So the station itself does not dispatch cars. OEMC does.
So 911 guys.
Correct, if you need them right then.
Very good. Now, is there specific patterns you're seeing as you're checking the neighborhood, or?
Essentially, I mean, it was a good year compared 08 to 07. There's a few bumps in the road with regards to a couple particular beats and minor increases in property crimes. Violence was not bad. There's some disturbing gang activity that we hope to address, especially in that Howard Street initiative starting in February. But in essence, we're doing better than most.
At the last meeting, you were talking about cameras and the way people can get involved with these sort of things.
Yeah, one of the things that I put in paper, a request, was to have a certain part of our DAC-related funding, in essence, our
That's
Allstate...
the District Advisory Committee for where the beat reps and different organizations are involved in community policing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, correct. Yeah. You have to disabuse me of using acronyms. But anyway...
I'm trying to figure out something myself, by the way.
But in essence, there is a funding source for, it's called Allstate funding, which is related to CAPS funding. And I put a request to have what I would call a DAC camera. The camera placement, aldermen get to pick where their cameras are at. That's a funding stream for cameras. And there's also a committee, a pod committee, police observation device, which is a camera. And in essence, that they get to decide based on crime and calls for service, reported crime. And what we would like is to be somewhat autonomous as a group, our District Advisory Council, to literally sit down, prioritize a location in the district ourselves, and have unfettered access to funding to purchase our own camera.
And this is actually money that's donated by Allstate as opposed to city funds.
Correct. It's in essence grant funding, yes.
So that's good. I mean, from that standpoint, so it's not like it's on the public dime that way.
Correct.
Now, what we found here, I mean, we don't have as many cameras as Rogers Park and West Rogers Park, but a camera went at Devon and Bell, and that pushed crime a little west. So one guy put at Devon and Rockwell, and it pushed crime a little west. There's one at Devon in California now, and I mean, but does it? I know you haven't been only here since, for about 6 weeks at this point, or 5 weeks, and part of that was on furlough. But have you had experience with crimes in your other position? I mean, with cameras in your other positions in the department?
A natural consequence of placements of cameras is the displacement of crime. In other words, if you have a chronic crime problem in a particular location, police do synchronized enforcement in conjunction with the camera. The people that are responsible for that crime pattern, they're going to move, west, east, north, south. They're going to move in response to the camera. And so we've developed ways of actually following that crime. You know what I mean? We're not going to say, well, we won this battle, let them win somewhere else. We'll continue to track it and adjust the camera locations accordingly. But this placement is a natural event, Right.
So they don't completely disappear. I mean, they may not be in quite as good a location.
Well, correct, but the disruption of crime does incrementally positively affect the crime patterns. In other words, if you make it uncomfortable for those gang members or those drug dealers, we're gonna win small battles that eventually help win the war.
Very good. Very good. How big a gang presence do we have in the 24th District?
There's certain pockets, of gang, crimes, and because of mass transit, we have some transient gang issues. Gang members from other parts of the city coming, off certain stops, on the red line that are sometimes problematic. But we're going to address those as well.
So, is there in West Rogers Park where we are? Is there much of a gang presence here, or?
Not as much as there are in other parts of the district. I wouldn't characterize this as your top problem.
No, thank God for that.
Amen.
Let me ask you in terms of, and I realize that ongoing investigations and stuff that like you've got to be careful about talking about. But in terms of the defacing of those synagogues and the Jewish schools and all that, is there any leads? Is what's going on with that?
That is an ongoing investigation. There have been many positive steps in that investigation, and we will have, in a relatively short period of time, what I believe to be a resolution, I think.
Well, that'd be great. Now, what can a synagogue or these schools do in order to discourage people from being there? I mean, cameras, lights.
Yeah, okay, cameras and lighting is a great combination. You know, a smart citizen typically can dissuade a smart offender. And if you don't want to be victimized, you know, and if you don't want your car broken into, don't leave items in the front seat that are visible from the street. If you want to be victimized on the street, walk fast and be aware of your surroundings. And again, if you don't want your property attacked, motion lighting. You know, in a place of a worship, you know, having cameras that are visible, and sometimes even with signage, you know, accompanying signage that alerts people that they're under surveillance is a great way of deterring crime.
And so, I mean, so if a burglar sees motion light, if a place is better lit in general, is it deter crime? Or?
Correct. I mean, people that do any crime, the last thing they want to do is get caught. And it's like anything, they put everything on a scale and they go to where they feel their chances of getting away are the best for them. And so it's you know, honest citizens need to realize that and act accordingly.
Can I ask what some of your previous assignments were? You know, you were in charge of 2 other things before you were commander?
Yeah, I was the
commander here.
Yeah, I was the commander of the Deployment Operations Center, which is the intelligence hub for our department. As well, prior to that, I was the commander of the Vice Control Section, which addresses licensing, you know, with regards to liquor, prostitution, and gambling.
The good stuff.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But and then prior to that, I was in gang intelligence as well, and you know, I had a lot of experience in organized crime and gang investigations.
As a matter of fact, our next week's guest, Frank Bakhti, his particular thing in the Bureau, besides for public speaking, is undercover stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's been an interesting day for me getting an education. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we in general, I mean, well, there's a lot of neighborhoods in the city. How is the vice in this area? Do we have a lot of it, or?
There have been a couple investigations, 2 in particular that I can recall without naming the businesses, but on the south end of the district, the Vice Control Section is on top of 2 particular locations that's ongoing. And but in all, I mean, and then there's one pocket of street prostitution that we addressed. We just did a initiative with the Vice Control Section, and they had a very positive result on a reversal investigation they did with street prostitutes. So, but all in all, I mean, Rogers Park is certainly not overly burdened with that type. It's a problem. If one's too many, don't get me wrong, yeah. But it could be worse.
Well, I grew up on the south side in a neighborhood I grew up in South Shore, so I'm familiar with worse neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. So that was the Blackstone Rangers definitely put fear into me. Now known as El Rucan, and the less of them, the better. So what do you have? So I was going to ask an obvious question. Well, in terms of goals for the future, of course, less crime and catch the people that are there. But is there any specific areas other areas you're looking into that you'd like to make progress or start something new?
Yeah, I'd like to engender stronger links to the community, more of a partnership with hands-on connection with the police. In other words, face-to-face exchanges between community leaders, members, people that are already engaged with the police. But I'd like to make it a closer partnership. I've got a couple ideas wherein I'd really like to get beat facilitators, co-facilitators, DAC members literally involved in our battle against crime, and a couple creative ways that we're going to accomplish that. Have yet to unfold, but I certainly hope to do that.
Well, that sounds cool. Yeah. I'm more than happy to help.
There's no guns involved, just so you know.
Damn it. I frankly don't know. I used to have a Daisy air rifle, but that was a million years ago. Yeah. And I never shot anything anyway. So, well, actually, we're shooting the TV show. That's about the extent of my shooting. Okay. Not much into firearms at all. So basically, boy, you answered so many different questions so succinctly. I'm just about running out of stuff. But anyway, I want to thank you very much for being here today, Commander Dave Sobczyk.
Thank you for having
me. The 24th District. We want to wish you luck in the job. And so far so good. And I will tell you that Stephen Hank, when you were appointed, basically told me that I don't want to. I'll tell you off the air who they compared you to, but they compared you to the guy who was my favorite commander. And they were telling Sonny and I and whoever else that you're a very straightforward guy, and you're a community guy, and you know, so far so good as far as I'm concerned. You've certainly brought some creative ideas, and you know, we want to wish you a lot of luck in your role.
Thank you very much.
So if anybody needs to call the police, of course, you can always call 911. And I do want to mention the community policing number, because if when should people call community policing?
When the greatest example is, listen, I'm interested in my neighborhood, my block, and I'd like to get involved. That's the perfect time to reach out and call community policing, because they're the ones that coordinate all those efforts.
Thanks, Sonny, and good luck on the job, Commander. All the best.
Thank you.
Okay.